Don't stop the music. That was some good music, Emily. Welcome out to Trade Masters, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coach Tyler back in the what do we call this? The throne.
Sure, if you want to call it that. Did you win the last time you were here?
I did win the last
5-1?
time.
You did? Oh boy.
Yeah, they made the right choice. It was me versus Tim, and I look. I don't know, luck, whatever it was. It was fun though. So tonight we got Coach Emily going to challenge me for the belt or whatever the reward is for winning this thing. So I'm excited to welcome out Coach Emily. If this is the first time joining us, the name of the game here is we have three rounds. First round's going to be the Delta round, where we're both going to pitch a couple of directional trades, and then we'll put it up to a vote, and you guys are able to decide who won that round. Second round is going to be the Theta round, which is a cash flow type of trade. And then once again, we'll put that to a vote. And then the third round is the wild card round, where we get to bring anything we want. Doesn't matter the strategy type, doesn't matter bull, bear, ticker, whatever you want. And then you guys again vote on that. Whoever wins, well, at least 2 out of 3. I actually have never been on here, Emily, and had somebody win 3 out of 3.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't had it happen. I feel like our audience is so kind. They're like, we just can't do it. We're not going to let somebody lose 3 out of 3. And so,
I hear you. But I did make a very, very heavy pitch last night in my lab and begged and pleaded for all my students to show up tonight and vote for me. So hopefully they're not in your lab and they'll vote for me all the way and not balance this out.
Listen, all's fair in love and war. We'll see how it goes. I am going to defer to you. I'll let you kick it off. So Delta rounds, give me a pitch. Let's see what you got.
All right. So, we talked about this just before we got on, how it's kind of hard to find some picks today because everything is kind of like on the pullback. I mean, the market has been, a little bit overextended, last few days, after we broke out of all of that craziness that we had over the last few weeks. And now it's like, it's that moment where like you see some setups, but you got to wait a few more days. Either you need another doji or confirmation candle. So that's kind of like where all my picks are. I don't have anything that's like ready, set, go for tomorrow. However, they are really, really good setups and I'm kind of liking them. And these are plays that I've done in the past. So they're like my rinse and repeat. Once they get going, they are pretty, they do reward very well. So I'm kind of looking at some things in the discretionary area. So if we look at the XLY ETF and just kind of take a look at that in overall, obviously you can see how the ETF itself just ran. It's, so far removed. Can we put Mark's girlfriend?
Oh, Mark's girlfriend. Yeah, let's. Listen,
he's not here.
I'm your hands here, Emily. You just steer me in the right direction.
Give me Mark's girlfriend. So there we go. So you can see how, we are a little bit overextended on that 9 EMA right at that 194 range there. So what I'm looking for here is for, the sector itself to kind of either just doji how it's doing right now, or maybe have a little bit of a pullback before we are off to the races again. So with that said, I'm looking at some things that have been beat up and are trying to get back into that, into the good graces of where XLY is. So give me DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods. So Dick's had earnings, gapped up, and then has just been on a beat down ever since. And if you go from where the gap was, you can see that reverse cup and handle formation there. Go back to where
I see.
Yeah, there we go. So now we're kind of forming another cup and handle to the upside. We look like we're almost like forming the handle part of the cup. So I'm looking to get a few more candles to the upside and break that 130 range before I get into this, but I like the setup. I like what is forming. And sometimes when it comes to trading, you just kind of have to wait and be patient a little bit. So with DKS, I kind of like where it's at. It's, it's not at the greatest position yet, but I think if we have a few more days of selling down on that sector itself, I think DKS could break out of that And once it does, we've got some, some resistance levels that we have from the past. We've got that 140-ish range, and then we've got that 147.39 range. So with that said, once we have confirmation and we clear 130, this is going to be an easy bull call spread for me. I am looking at the December. And with that, we're going to buy the 130 and sell the 140. And my target, again, will be that 140 range and 147 range, looking to put up about 245 on that. For me, personally, my risk tolerance rule is in that 250 range. So even for me on this one, I'm not even going to have a stop loss. It's, I'm willing to risk the 245. And again, I'm going to target about that 140 to 147 range. On Dick's Sporting Goods, $45, it could be, obviously it'll be a little bit higher, but still, I kind of like where this is heading once we clear that 130.
Love it. I love it. All right, December 130, 140 bull call spread. You know what, Emily? You may not have known this. But I did a webinar on Monday on options. Here on YouTube, and DKS was the example I chose. So I concur with your, I concur with your bullish thesis.
I didn't cheat. I did not cheat, class. I didn't cheat.
Hey, great minds think alike.
We're all allowed to cheat. I mean, this is the one, this is the one, area of I guess business that we are allowed to copy off each other, and it's not going to harm the other person. Indeed. So even if I did cheat, it doesn't matter. It's still a good.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I do have one question. What's the trigger here? I mean, would you pull the trigger tomorrow morning? You mentioned 129. Are you waiting for it to take that out, or what do you think the trigger?
Yeah, either clear that 126 with that 50-day moving average, or clear 130. So yeah, I definitely want to see confirmation back to the upside. I want to see the handle forming on that cup and handle, kind of like how we had it on the reverse cup and handle. So I want to see that get cleared.
I dig it. The other thing I like on this is the weekly. We had talked about this on Monday too, where it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And if you take out that 129, you're just getting further upside confirmation. So well done. Yeah, well done. Okay, so Emily with the bull call spread. I'm going to go bearish for my directional trade. I don't do this often, but I actually found quite a few interesting bearish setups, especially after earnings. I feel like earnings is the great separator, the great sifter, where you're seeing the haves and the have-nots, nice up gaps like Google, Microsoft, right? And then you've got these losers who a lot of them got smoked this earnings season. And I'm trying to narrow it down which one I want to do here. I think I'm going to go with a stock that we talked about in the halftime report today as an earnings loser, and that is Boeing.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Boeing. I feel like I don't even need to add any commentary. I feel like I just need to say, I'm going to go bearish on Boeing and then build a trade. But in case you don't see what's obvious in front of you, the chart is garbage. Every rally has been sold quicker in Boeing since March. So in other words, you have a series of lower pivot highs. We're below the 200 period moving average, below the 50, below the 20. So you're below all the MAs. And, if I were a Boeing shareholder yesterday, I would have prayed very hard to the market gods and said, please, we need an assist. Give us some magic on this earnings announcement. We're sitting at major support. Throw us a bone. Have the CEO say something fantastic to save us. And then you wake up, and did the market gods deliver? No, they did not. They don't love you. Or they do love you, but Boeing is so horrific that despite the gods' efforts on your behalf, still couldn't get the thing to go up. So That technically it did gap up actually, but got sold into weak close. I think this is on the verge of a potential breakdown. I've already drawn the support zone here, the gray area. I think if it takes out today's low, so it's got to take out today's low. If it gaps up and rips tomorrow, never mind. But if it breaks today's low, which is 205.64 or so, I think you got a decent chance. I think you got a decent chance that this goes down to 193. Remember, this is a zone where this has bounced before, right? So the premise is that it's going to crack support and go lower. Your choice on how much confirmation you want. At a minimum, got to go below today's low. If you want to give it a little more room, that's fine. But I think if it cracks the low, the next level is 193. Take a look at a weekly chart. I think it cleans it up a little bit. So basically this big descending triangle, looking for it to break support. Just go next to the, or go to the next weekly pivot here. So I feel like I got about a $10 window that this could fill, or I guess a gap that this could fill, or an area that it could drop to the next support zone. So from a strategy perspective, I think buying puts is just a little too expensive for a $200 stock. So we're going to do a put spread, essentially going to buy a 205 strike put, which is like at the money, and then sell an out of the money put against it to cut my cost. And so if we go to the option chain here, November is a little too aggressive for my taste. I need a little more time. So we're going to go to December. And again, I'm going to buy the 205 put, $9, a little expensive. I don't want to put up $900. So again, to cut the cost, I'm going to sell essentially where I think the stock's going to go, which is 195. We'll sell that strike against it, cuts the cost to about $3.90. I don't like paying more than $4 for a $10 spread. So I think this price is right on target here. Essentially risking around $4 to make $6 if it drops to 195. Of course, to make the $6, you'd have to be there at expiration. The reality is, if this got punched in the face and fell to 195, I'd probably be tempted to take profits early. But if you're looking for something bearish, I think you could do worse than a bear put here in Boeing.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, that support zone has held quite a bit, but that volume increasing yesterday and today could tip it over. So I like where the volume is at. So if it does break, I think getting to that 195 should be pretty easy down to 195. So I like it. I'm putting that on my list for my bears.
Do it. Now I will say what the counterpoint, okay, not to undermine my own pitch here. If I were a bear, the only concern is that it's just gone down a lot since the resistance, right? And you say, oh, maybe it's oversold, maybe it bounces. Look, it could. And this is where you just kind of have to decide how much room you want to give it, right? Like if you want to put a stop so that if it does bounce and this is a failed support break, you can make the risk fairly minimal if you want a tight stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you, if this thing gets above the 50 MA, it's like, forget it. Forget it. And so you could go to the risk graph and map that out, based on what the risk is. But barring that, I think it's a decent play. So we shall see. Now it looks like, I'm getting nervous here, Emily. The votes are coming in. Okay. Votes are coming in. And listen, normally if I were to be against Greg,
this is new. I have not been here. Is this where the audience is actually voting? We don't have like a host that's going to give us the round.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh. So we've evolved.
Wow.
Yes, we fired the coach or the judge, and we figured that team tackle is so smart. You guys are just great. Let's be honest. You're just fantastic. We figured I'm going to butter the heck out of these guys. Okay.
So wait, can I go in there and vote for myself?
No. I got the mic here, man.
I want to vote for myself.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
We're 50-50.
What? Listen, okay, but the point is they vote. So we have a poll up on YouTube. I don't know if you have YouTube pulled up, but
yeah, I do have YouTube pulled up. I just voted for myself in the poll and it's 50-50.
Oh, that's what you said with the 50-50. What I was going to tell you is normally if I'm up against Greg or Tim, I definitely vote for myself. Okay? I definitely do. But I am not going to. I want this to be legit, Emily.
Oh, oh wait, we were 50-50. The votes are still coming in. Now it's 58-42. Oh, this is horrible. This is bad. You get to actually watch how you're doing, like live. This is this.
Oh yeah.
This is, oh my goodness. Okay. This
Oh,
feels
yeah.
like
You gotta have thick skin. You gotta have thick skin. So he'll
election night. Who gets to be president, me or Tyler? Oh my goodness. All right.
Just keep in mind that the term is 1 week. It's not 4 years. So live it up while you got it, baby. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we're on to the next round.
Yes, let's go on to the next one. So we'll keep the poll up, Tanya, and take it down whenever you want. But let's go to round 2, theta round. Take it away, Emily.
Okay, theta round. I was conflicted. I wanted to either go healthcare or stick again with discretionary, because healthcare has also been doing quite well over the last week or so. But I am going to stick with what has been working for me. So I'm going to stick with discretionary, and let's look up Lulu. So here we are looking at Lulu breaking out of that all-time resistance level that it had back there in September. So here we are at that 433, 434 range. Peaked our head above that today and closed right at it. So I've been doing full put spreads on Lulu for I don't know how long. It's probably one of our favorites in the lab that we've done. In fact, we had one on last week. Lulu went up so fast. We actually closed profit on it today, and we're gonna re-up on Lulu again. Now, we did the November. So if I go to the trade tab, this is kind of like where you have to spend time as a trader and find your sweet spot on what you're looking for. We could re-up the November again, but that's now 23 days out. It was perfect last week because it was, exactly at 30 days. But now, if I look at the Novembers and based on where I want to sell the bull put, there's not going to be enough meat in the bone for the November. So now I'm going to move down to those weeklies. And with the weeklies, you have to look at those bid and ask spreads to make sure that they're not, very, very wide and you're not going to get a good fill. So I did play around with this a little bit earlier, and just for the sake of just kind of showing the examples, let's just kind of go out and build out 3 bull put spreads, and then I'll tell you what my pick was. So let's start with the November 26th. And we're going to sell the 400 and buy the 395. Now, the reason I picked the 400 off of this one here, it was just kind of going off of, what our, guidelines are for a bull put spread, 25 delta, between a 25 delta to a 10 delta. So I just kind of went with like, okay, let's just go with the basis 400, right? Significant whole number. Let's throw that on and see what that looks like. So looking at that one right there, it's a $5 wide. And the $5 wide is going to give us what? I'm looking at mine here. Yeah, we're looking at about $1.09. So with that, and I'm sorry, that was a 15 delta. So I was kind of going in the middle of the range, not a 40 delta, not a 25 delta. I was going on like in the middle of the range there with our guidelines. So 15 delta, but and the 400, but does that put me on an area of support where I'm going to be comfortable with? So if we throw that on the chart and kind of look at it there, that's good enough. But for me, I would love to be a little bit lower and give myself some more wiggle room. We are underneath those moving averages, which is perfectly fine. However, for the type of trader that I am, I don't like to have to manage anything. I like things to just expire without me having to worry about them. So if I could get some more, give myself some more cushion and the cash flow still be good enough, I will probably find something even lower. So now that puts me on the next option chain, which is going to be the the December 3rd, 37 days out. And with that one there, I went out and did the 390 and bought the 385. So with that one there, we're picking up, just a few more bucks there, but I'm giving myself more room. But those bid and ask spreads there, I don't like them. They're too wide for me there, right? So I'm looking at that going, I don't think that that's going to work for me. So now that leaves me no option but to do the December monthly. Now, if you look at the chart, Lulu does have earnings, I believe, on December 9th. So with this one here, I cannot let it expire. I'm going to have to make sure that I have a reminder or a note for myself to be out by earnings date. But I like the monthly just because of the spread. So for this one here, it actually even allows me to go to where I want to be, which is right underneath that 380 support. So if we sell me the 380 and buy me the 370, now this becomes a $10 wide. The other ones were 5 wide. So now this is going to be a $10 wide. So now I'm putting up a little bit more buying power, but I'm picking up a little bit more premium. And so I'm getting $1.20. And if we now throw that, that on the chart and throw that break even line there, it gives me a little bit more distance, which is what I like. And I'm underneath that support zone that I wanted to be at, and I have some breathing room and still have enough cushion. So if you throw that line for me on the chart, set that slice of the chart for me, there we go. So that becomes my final pick out of all those 3. And, part of, trading is kind of going through and designing, trades until you find the one that fits you, right? So this fits my profile. It fits my style of trading. I do have to deal with earnings, so I'll have to make sure that I'm out of this trade by earnings date, but I've got enough time for me to pick up some cash flow and not have to worry about managing this trade. I got plenty of opportunity to get out if it starts to break those major support zones and those moving averages. So that is my cash flow pick.
I love it. What I really like is the exercise we just went through, right? Like you showed these guys how you would think through choosing one expiration versus another, ultimately settling on that December. So I would have done the same. Those bid-ask spreads scare me on those weeklies as well. Yeah. It also makes you wonder if that credit $9, $11
is actually true.
Is legit. Yeah, because those spreads are so wide. It wouldn't surprise me if when they tighten up, it's more like 60, 70 cents. Because, and I know Emily knows this, Delta 15 to get $1 on a $5 spread. Yeah, doubt it. Not that low of a delta.
Not happening. Not today. You almost had it. It's like that Geico commercial. You almost had it.
Yes. Okay, I love it. Lulu, well put. Okay. For my theta play, I'll bounce back to the bulls here. It was hard for me to find a bullish idea that I liked. Emily brought up a really good point at the very beginning. There's a lot. We just had a down day, the first down day for the S&P, like legit down day in a while. A lot of these sectors, energy, it's just hard to find a setup after one down bar, right? Financials, give me a couple of down bars, then we'll rock and roll. But a lot of these are just not there yet, right? So what I'm going to go with is actually another ticker symbol that was discussed in halftime report today. Coach Matt and I had some fun. I want to take a look at Coca-Cola. I think I can get a decent cash flow play on this puppy. After sitting through the, I was going to say bloodbath, there were some areas today that I think might qualify as a bloodbath, but kind of a more volatile down day today. I want some stability in my life, Emily. Okay. I want some stability. When I think stability, I think Coca-Cola. It's a consumer staple stock, has a low beta, doesn't move that much. And I particularly like the earnings response. This has been in a downtrend for a couple of months. I like the positive response to earnings. Didn't close at the high of the day, didn't really hold on to the entirety of the gains. I don't care. I think that today it was a tough day to close at the high of the day, given what happened in the overall market. I just like that this is above the 50-day moving average. And I think the enthusiasm over the earnings announcement could have staying power and could help this be a good buy on the next dip, if it does pull back a few days. And so while I'm not like gung-ho about going crazy directional and super bullish, I do think that this could remain neutral to mildly bullish enough for me to pull some profits from a theta trade. And while I'd love to do something like sell naked puts, I know that the implied volatility is pretty skimpy on Coca-Cola, both in general, but particularly after an earnings announcement. Indeed, if you look at the IV rank, it is 0, which means essentially it's the lowest it's been, not even essentially, it is the lowest it's been all year long. It could go a little lower, but the point is, now you want to sell puts, like you're not going to get anything. I want to do a long volatility type of trade that capitalizes on the cheaper options. And that means something like a bull call diagonal spread or a poor boys cover call, where I can buy a longer term in the money call that's dirt cheap and sell some out of the money calls against it. So let's see what we can build here. I'm going to go out to January. I'm going to buy a 3-month in the money option, and the 55 strike with a 54 delta, just not high enough. I need something that moves a little bit more dollar for dollar with the stock. So I'm going to go with the higher delta call. 52.50. Now check this out. I'm paying, let's say $3.50 for this 52.50 call. Well, let me do the math a different way. This call is $3 in the money, and I'm paying $3.50, which means I'm only paying 50 cents in time value. I'm paying 50 cents in time premium for 3 months of time. That right there is one way of understanding what the low IV rank means. The super low IV rank means you're not paying much for time value right now. 50 cents for 3 months. I'm not really gonna experience much adverse reaction or negative theta in my long call. It's going to be a pretty stable stock substitute. I like that. And so buying the long-term in the money call for 350, and I'm going to sell a cover call against it. And I love the liquidity of monthly options. I'm going to see if I can get enough premium in this 23-day option. I could sell a 40 delta call, or I could sell a 30 delta call, 56 strike or 56.50. I would be okay with either one of those. I will tell you, I'm actually partial to the 40 delta because I paid $3.50. I'd really like to get a decent chunk of change back. 35 cents only gets me 10% back. It's okay. But I don't know. In this case, I'm being greedy in the sense that I want more premium to reduce my risk, even though it's going to make it where I can't make as much money. I still think I'll be able to make enough though. So I'm going to sell the no 56 against it. It's going to cost me about $2.94. Now, if I right click and analyze this, here's my risk graph. Okay. I immediately know that I made the right call selling the higher delta, the 40 delta, getting higher premium, because I still love the risk graph. I don't cap my game too quickly on the upside. If we're sitting around 56 or higher, you look at the max profit, 60, 70 bucks. Look, if I make $60 on a $294 trade, it's like a 20% return in 23 days. It's like 1% a day on Coca-Cola. I'm not talking Tesla here. Like, this is Coca-Cola. What more do you want, right? All right. So long the Jan 52.50 call, short the no 56, $2.94. I love the trade structure. Your break even is $55. So essentially the question you ask is, do you think, are you willing to bet Coca-Cola is above 55 bucks, 3 weeks from now? If the earnings announcement response is reflective of the enthusiasm that'll stick, I think it will be. So decent trade. Stop loss, if you want a stop loss, it's cheap enough where I don't think you need one, but I would probably not like Coca-Cola if it broke this 53.70. I think that's probably a smart stop to give it some room. If I look at the risk graph, I'm risking 80, 90 bucks. So I like the balanced risk reward. I like the high probability, I like the ROI, I like everything about it. That's why I brought it up. And that's my pick. Emily, what say you?
I like it. It's so important to have those boring, defensive, area of the market type stocks, especially when the market's just been, ripping over the last few weeks, right? It's good to have, a little bit of balance in your portfolio and not be so heavy on one sector or the other. So I definitely like this old, boring Coca-Cola play. And you still get you still get some nice cash flow. So absolutely, I like it. I like it a lot.
Emily, I knew you had good judgment. Okay.
Listen,
Here's
I
the
learned
thing.
from you. So how can I not like anything that you present?
Well played. Well played. I mean, in terms of timing, do you think it would be okay to pull the trigger like after a bar like today? Would you wait? Would you wait for an up bar? Does it matter given the overall trend structure? What do you think?
I mean, it's Coca-Cola. So for me, it wouldn't matter if it was any other stock. I probably would wait for another candle or two, but it's Coke.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is what do you think it's going to do? Like drop to $45? And you've got a decent stop loss. I think at that 53, 53.90 or whatever. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Emily, what do you want to say to draw people to your cause right now? Because they're in the midst of casting one of us off the island here potentially.
You guys gave Tyler some love on the first round. I get it. He's back. You guys have missed him, but this is round 2 now. So I need some votes. So I need y'all to click on that top one. Emily, the one that says Emily on Lulu, that one. That's the one you need to click on. Round 2. Give it to me.
Got it, baby. And yes, I did squeak by on round 1. So let's see if let's see what makes this interesting. I am curious. We're going to tee up the wild card round here in a second. Did you see the new Bond movie yet, Emily?
No, I have not seen the new Bond movie.
Did you see the new Dune movie?
I have not. No, I have not. I have not. The last movie we saw was the Marvel movie about 3-4 weeks ago, and that came out. So no, I have not seen any.
Shang-Chi?
Yes.
Legend of the Ten Rings. I saw that one. What'd you think?
Loved it. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, but absolutely, we loved it so much we went and saw it twice.
Dude, you know what Marvel's good about is making each story unique enough to where it stands apart, right? Because they can get very repetitive, but they do a good job.
And yeah, they do a good job of making you want to see more. So I can't wait for the second one because I'm sure there'll be a second one.
I'm sure there will be. Yeah. Okay. Let's kick it off to the third round here. Wild card round. What you got for me?
Oh, wild card round. So yesterday, I was thinking of doing an advanced strategy, but I did that yesterday on Queen's Court on our YouTube special. So I'm not going to do another broken wing butterfly. If you want to see my strategy on the broken wing butterfly, make sure you go catch the replay from yesterday's halftime report on the Queen's Court segment. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it simple and do what you just did and do a little, a little calendar spread. I'm looking at home builders and residential construction, and that area of the market is looking, decent. If you look up Lennar, LEN, kind of got beat up today with everything else, but it was starting to, to start to high base over there. And it actually did break out today and then just got knocked back down there. But looking at Lennar, also looking at Toll Brothers. So I'm liking this area of the market. Again, Toll Brothers, same thing. It was, doing really well, kind of high basing, and then got punched in the teeth today with everything else, but still like that trend, still like that pattern. So looking to do something here with this. And I think I decided to go with Toll Brothers over Lennar. So with this one here, we're going to keep it very simple and just go out and do a calendar. And if you actually look at this on the weekly, I like it even better on the weekly because we can see those resistance levels that it has an opportunity to get to. We've got, that 64, 65 range there, and then we've got that 68. So easy targets for you to to go out and take profit there on. We're above those moving averages. We keep finding support and bouncing off of that 50 weekly. So absolutely love that as well. So really liking it on the weekly as well. So for this one here with Lennar, gonna keep it a very, very simple. We're going to go out and, I mean, not on Toll Brothers, we're going to go out and buy the December 55 call. And then we're going to go to November and we're going to sell the 61 call. So we're looking at putting up about 470 on that, but I like where if it does get to that range that we talked about, those profit target zones there, got a potential to make a max profit there of about 51. If it blows through that, you still make a little bit of chump change, and you know, quick and easy, painless, you know, in and out. Assuming that we have that breakout happens there and we don't have a few more days of a downtrend. I think they just got beat up with today's mess. I think the pattern that was forming there was pretty nice, and I think we will see this area continue to go up. So that's my play. And you know, we've got, you know, clear support zones that we can have stop losses on if it does get beat up there. We've got the 200 and the 50 right under, you know, right there. You can have a stop loss there. You can have it tighter if you wanted to and move it up right underneath 58 and a half there as well too. So got some places you can put stop losses on, but if you want to loosen it up a little bit, you can have it underneath those moving averages there with the 50 and the 200. So that is my play on my wild card.
Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. You live to fight another day here, and you just squeaked by round 2, so that's going to make this round a little interesting, right? So okay, my question on Toll Brothers is, with this type of candle, help me know where I mean, like, how could I trigger this tomorrow based on the big bar? Do I use the wick? Do I ignore it and go here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, it's all on the individual trader, right? For me, I would ignore the wick and just use where we had the most bodies, right? So I'm looking at like that 60, 94, 61 range, right? If I use the wick, I'm it's putting me all the way up to 62.32. If it does break out, then I'm missing, you know, a little bit of that opportunity. So I would go where the most bodies have been, which is that, you know, 60, 80, 61 zone.
Totally agree. And if it's not easy to see on the daily, you know, you can break it to the intraday and kind of see what level has been hit the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm.
Okay. Fourth quarter here, down by whatever I'm down by. Let's see if I can squeak this out. I was trying to decide if I would go exotic or kind of the huge. And as Mark would like to say, I'm feeling froggy, so I'm going with the exotic one. Okay. All right. Look, I am intrigued by the current position of Bitcoin. And so I'm going to make the pitch on this, and I'll tell you how I think you could potentially play it. Bull retracement. Maybe we hold the 20 MA, maybe we don't, but there's no denying that this 58,000 or so is interesting, right? If this was a chart of Apple, you would say, oh my goodness, look at this increasing momentum, look at the delightful volume. Yes, it was extended, so naturally you get some profit taking, right? So a little pullback. First, you know, key potential support zone, old resistance, and rising 20 MA, and logical spot where bulls might show up, right? So far, they're absent, but tomorrow's another day. Let's see what happens. So I'm interested in this dip. Now, you can't really buy BTC unless you're going to trade futures, which I would not recommend on Bitcoin because they're really expensive and there's just a lot of risk there. So how do I play this? Well, there happens to have just been a Bitcoin ETF based on the futures that just launched. And so far, it's a fairly good proxy for BTC. And I'm intrigued to see how this plays out over time, because there are some differences between BTC and this Bitcoin ETF. But so far, the correlation has been pretty consistent. And so I believe if Bitcoin futures bounce, this particular Bitcoin futures-based ETF should do likewise. The reason I'm holding you in suspense and not showing you the chart yet, because I got to explain something. Bitcoin futures have been around for a while, so you got some price data, you got a trend, you got some moving averages. This Bitcoin futures ETF was just listed like 5 bars ago. So it is going to look like Bitcoin over the last 5 or 6 bars, okay? So BITO is the ticker symbol. And you can see it went up these 2 days, the 19th and the 20th. If you go look at Bitcoin, the 19th and the 20th, these 2 green bars, right? And then you had a series of down bars. And if you look at BITO, it is the same. The reason why you're getting some gappy stuff is the futures trade 24 hours, essentially, and BITO only trades when the stock market's open. So kind of like an ADR or an American Depository Receipt, like say BABA or Toyota Motors that tracks foreign companies that trade at different hours. These gap a little bit to compensate for what happened after hours. In fact, a better example would be gold. GLD tracks gold futures, but it's not trading at the exact same time of the day, so sometimes it gaps. All right, so long story short, BITO so far has been a decent proxy for Bitcoin, which effectively means if Bitcoin bounces, I think this will bounce. So if you're interested in shopping the dip in Bitcoin futures and you don't buy Bitcoin directly, because maybe you do, you could always do that. I think BITO is an interesting product to play. It has options and they're actually quite liquid. And so it also provides an opportunity to play options around Bitcoin. My entire premise is based on this dip getting bought. If Bitcoin goes down 7% tomorrow without going up at all, forget about it, okay? But if we can pop above, let's say, honestly, today's high is pretty far away. I'd probably look for a quicker trigger. And the other thing that I'm going to do to hedge my bets is I'm going to sell pretty far out of the money. We're going to do a bull put, okay? I don't need to go for the gusto on this. I'm just going to sell an out of the money bull put spread and bet that the dip in Bitcoin gets bought sooner than later. So BITO is at 38 bucks.
Okay.
And I'm going to sell puts down around like 33 or 32 so that I have quite a bit of margin for error. Okay. Now you could go out to December and you can go pretty far out of the money if you really wanted to. 51 days is forever in the land of crypto. So I'm going to go a little bit shorter term and live and die by, a 23-day time frame. The 33 strike is a 21 delta. The 32 strike is a 17 delta. I actually think after today's down move, you could do like a 32.28 bull put, 50 cents. Might even be able to get the ROI a little better if you do like a $4 wide spread. But something around there, 32, 33, 28 or 27 on a long strike, credit spread for 50, 60 cents. You get a decent ROI there and your probability's pretty good. Probability's pretty good. So there you go. Bull put on BITO off of this Bitcoin pullback.
All right.
That's my wild card.
That is it is a wild card. We had this discussion last week when I guess BITO came in the market, and we talked about do we treat this as or like an IPO, and we had the discussion and we said, of course, you probably wouldn't, because we have data about this. It's Bitcoin futures, right? So yeah, it looks very off when you're looking at 7 days or 7 bars of candlesticks, looking at the ETF, and you're like, I thought we don't trade IPOs, but it's really not an IPO. So with that in mind, yeah, you kind of have to clear your mind and go, yeah, I'm not looking at an IPO, I'm looking at Bitcoin futures. futures. This is just the ETF that tracks Bitcoin futures. I do like where that support zone is. And you're right. We do have to see buyers coming in and buying off of that support zone there. I would probably want it to clear 60,000 just because it's a significant whole number for me. So I would probably have an alert on Bitcoin that if it clears 60, then I would throw on that bull put spread.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be my entry on that one. But yeah, I like it. I like it for, a fresh, clean play on something that I haven't traded before. I'm not scared to put that on.
Well, here's the thing. You can define your risk, right? With the number of contracts. And this is like what I think we've all been waiting for. Not that BITO is the perfect proxy, because it's not. At some point we'll get an actual Bitcoin ETF. But for now, it's kind of the least bad option if you're going to go with an ETF that's supposed to move with Bitcoin that also has options, right? So eventually we want to get to the point where you can actually buy a Bitcoin ETF that moves dollar for dollar with Bitcoin, or at least percentage-wise the same. Sell covered calls and naked puts, like, dude, it just opens the door to doing all sorts of cool stuff. So I will tell you, in the long run, BITO requires a similar amount of paying attention to as USO, where they actually, like USO, they changed the fund structure, which changed the way it behaved a little bit because they bought longer dated futures and stuff. I mean, if you really want to geek out on this, you probably need to pay attention to the prospectus on BITO and how they're continuing to try to track Bitcoin. Still in its infancy, high risk. That's why I brought it up in the wild card. But so far, I'm impressed. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch over the next couple of months here.
Indeed, I agree with you on that. It will be interesting to watch.
Okay, Emily, again, what are we going to do here? We've got it's 1-to-1. I mean, go ahead, make the plea. Let's
listen, guys. Tyler's here every Wednesday, pretty much. It's Tyler and Greg. You guys haven't seen my faces here on Wednesday nights that often. If you want me to come back next, you know what you got to do. Just vote for M. That's all you got to do. And I'll be back here next Wednesday with wonderful picks for you, even better than today. Because hopefully by next week, we'll have a little bit of a retracement back up, and we'll have some actual bull trades like we can actually trade and actually trigger that day. So do what you got to do, people.
That was good. That's right. Emily and I drew the short straw today because Marco's garbage, and we really had to go hunting, and we delivered. Yes. But if we're lucky, next week. What am I saying? I wouldn't even be here next week. If y'all listen to Emily. My plea is I brought you a Bitcoin related play. What more could you want? I mean, come on. Like that's where it's at these days, right? That's where it's at.
Bitcoin.
I hear Shiba Inu is the new major crypto going bonkers.
Oh goodness. Is it like that? What is that? The one that does it Dogecoin was?
I think so. I think I saw an article today that said Shiba Inu is now, I swear that, I don't know that that's how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled. SHIBU space INU. I don't know how else you would pronounce it. Do you want to give it a shot, Emily? SHIBU space INU.
You're
Go
doing
for it, baby. What you got?
You're doing just great.
Anyways, it's up a gajillion %. You know what's funny too is the more this keeps happening, it's like, okay, you boys better stop it, because I swear I'm going to start throwing money at random crypto crap just to try to see if we can get in the next one. I don't know.
I tell you.
Yeah, Linda knows what I'm talking about. Linda owns this. I think I pronounced it right. Yeah. Okay, Emily.
Oh, I see those votes.
You see those votes.
Oh my.
Listen, you know the secret sauce. The secret sauce is home builders don't beat Bitcoin.
No, they don't. No,
I do like home builders though. I did like the toll pick. Dude, today was tough. Such a tough close on some of those, but I like the space for sure. I did. I don't know if you saw the Trading Justice newsletter in September. It was on lumber, and we talked about home builders and how they've been cashing in. So look, I like home builders. It was a good pick. It was a good pick. But
You played dirty with Bitcoin, as Linda said.
I will tell you, my other pick was going to be bearish Southwest Airlines.
Oh.
Had I not done Bitcoin, I would have done a bearish Southwest Airlines. But I felt too dirty after the Boeing bearish pick. And so I'm like, I can't double up on a bear pick. So I passed.
Well played, my friend.
Always a pleasure, Em. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us this evening.
Absolutely. And Team Tackle is always the best for coming to hang out with us.
Yes, indeed.
Team Tackle.
Last word for me, there's a bear market survival guide. Well, two things tonight. I think there's a nightly Traders Lounge with Coach Greg here in like 40 minutes. And then hour after that, which is 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing the bear market survival guide mastermind group meeting, which I believe is open to all pro members. So if you guys want to come in,
to all pro members, I'm going to come out and hang out with you at 9:30. You know, since I'm going to come and learn a thing or two from you, so I can beat you next time. So I'll come and hang out with you at 9:30.
The market's been so bullish. Like the bear market survival guide's like, you don't need to survive. There's nothing to survive. We're fine.
You know,
just
I think
stocks.
The bear market survival guide and the cash flow condors, those, you know, the bear market survival guide has just been like, but cash flow condors, I've been loving that. And I like how it just got punched in the face today. Try to get up above that.
I know everybody who has condos on this did like it. You know, as one who owns IWM, not so much, but
so much, yeah.
I mean, look, it pays a one point, I get paid 0.61%, I guess, to wait for this thing to eventually break out. So who am I to complain?
Be patient, Tyler.
We'll be patient. All right, that's it for us, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back next week with another Trade Masters, and we'll see who I can off next week. Yeah, you're the queen, actually. You're the one who offs people. I guess
only on Tuesdays, apparently. I can't off you on a Wednesday, so you have to come on a Tuesday for me to off you. So we'll have to move this to a Tuesday night.
I don't know that I'm brave enough to come on Tuesday. I'll stick with my Wednesday.
Oh, man.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your week.